Hey seniors, welcome to another day working with linear equations on a graph. Today we're going to talk about converting and graphing in slope-intercept form, but let's go ahead and start with some reminders from yesterday. On your notes page, go ahead and draw a line and go ahead and write converting and graphing in slope-intercept form. So you'll remember that our slope-intercept form means our slope-intercept form equation, which is y equals mx plus b. You guys are going to get tired of hearing me say that. Where m is the slope of the graph, that means the steepness of the graph, and b is the y-intercept. All right, sometimes you guys are going to get equations where it is not in proper slope-intercept form, and that means you must put it in slope-intercept form. Do not write this. That is just a little tidbit. Let's do an example. So our steps to converting: add or subtract the x variables from both sides of the equation and then divide the coefficient of y. Essentially what I'm saying is get y on one side by itself and get everything else to the other side. So if I'm given the equation 4x plus y equals 5, I see immediately that this is not quite in proper slope-intercept form because my slope-intercept form equation tells me that y equals mx plus b. But we're close. In order to get y by itself, I need to get rid of this 4x. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4x from both sides. My 4x's will cancel out. I'm left with y equals 5 minus 4x. I'm going to rewrite this in slope-intercept form. So y equals negative 4x plus 5. Whoops. Let me write that a little bit better so you guys can see that. Y equals negative 4x plus 5. Again, my negative 4 is going to be my slope. And my 5 is going to be my y-intercept. When I am graphing these equations, I always start with my y-intercept. That is always my starting point. So I'm going to go to my graph and put a dot where y equals 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next thing, my slope is negative 4. So that means that my line is going to be going down. It's going to be decreasing. Whenever you have a whole number as a slope, you always have to put it over 1 because then I can follow my rise over run rule. So when I'm plotting points, I know that I'm always going to go up or down 4 spaces and then left or right 1 space. So let's go ahead and prove that. My slope is negative 4. I start at my starting point, which is 5. And I'm going to go down 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right 1 space, because that's what my run says. And I can keep doing that. I take that same point, I go down 4, I go right 1 space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right 1 space, put a dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right 1 space, put a dot. And then again, if I want to extend the line on this side of the graph, I just do the opposite. So I go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then left 1 space. And you see that these lines create a complete straight line. If you are graphing these equations and your line is not straight, you have done something wrong. Let's do another example. All right, go ahead and write example 2, and then 2x plus 5 equals y. This is actually in proper slope-intercept form because y is on its own. I can just rewrite it. So remember, our slope-intercept equation is y equals mx plus b. I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite this so it looks normal. Y equals 2x plus 5. And remember, 2 is going to be my slope, and my y-intercept is going to be 5. So again, if I want to graph this equation, I first go to my y-intercept, which is 5. So I'm going to go put a point on the graph where y equals 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, my slope is 2. And whenever I have a whole number, remember again, I have to put it over 1 because that'll be my rise and my run. So I know that all my points are going to be up 2 and to the right for 1. So I'm going to take my starting point of 5. I'm going to go up 2, right 1, and put a dot. Up 2, right 1, and put a dot. And then if I want to extend on this side of the graph, I just do the opposite. down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. And again, I could do this all day long, but you see how this is going to create a straight line. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that. And again, if you're getting a crooked line, you're doing something wrong. And I see that my line is increasing, which makes sense because I have a positive slope. Let's do another one. All right, so our question here is which graph represents the equation? So I have 3 different possibilities. This will be choice A, choice B, and choice C. All right, so let me look at my equation. 2 plus y equals 1 over 2x. Well, I see immediately that this is not in proper slope-intercept form. Because proper slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So y is almost by itself, but I need to move this 2 over. So I'm going to go and subtract 2 from both sides. So the equation that I'm getting is y equals 1/2 x minus 2. Now, the best way to approach this problem is to first just figure out which one of these graphs the equation appropriately. So let's start with our y-intercept to see if we can eliminate any of these answer choices. So I'm looking for one of these graphs that has a y-intercept of -2. Well, I can go ahead and eliminate answer choice B because the y-intercept here is a +2. So that can't be right. Answer choice A does have a y-intercept of -2. Let's see if it matches our slope. My line is increasing, so let's see what our slope is. Remember, I find 2 points on the graph, and I find my rise and my run. So there's one here, and then there's one at 1 and 1. So there's one at 0, -2, and then 1, 1. And my slope is 1 over 2, which means I rise 1 spot, I go right 2 spots. So let's see if that one does it. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is incorrect because the slope of this line is actually 1, 2, 3, is actually 3x, which is the same as 3 over 1. So that cannot be correct. So I can go ahead and eliminate this answer choice. That leaves me with C, which is obviously my answer, but let's go ahead and make sure that this line is graphed appropriately. So I'm looking for a y-intercept of -2, which I see. And then I'm looking for my next point on the graph to be 1 spot up and 2 spots to the right. So I'm going to put a dot here at, this is 2, -1. And I see that it goes up 1 and right 2 spaces, which is the same as having a slope of 1 over 2. So answer choice C is my correct answer because the slope of the line matches the equation. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Again, when you are graphing these equations, make sure you start with your y-intercept and then move on to your slope. Let's go ahead and practice.